Hello, how are you doing today? Hope everyone's doing well. So this is like my third attempt at making this video. Talking video is very hard for me because it's not my natural state. And if someone, I think I saw a comment about, oh, put a voiceover over your videos. The problem is talking is extremely difficult for me, even though now I feel like I'm coming across as fluent at talking and speaking, but that had been in training for like years and years. And I'm 40 now, so I'm only able to be fluent in speaking and talking. I'm not talking about language. I'm talking just talking. Um, after 4 years, 40 years. I mean, yeah. So today I think I want to talk about why I started vlogging. I think I'm gonna leave my story for the vlogs because it's such a sensitive subject to me, and I don't particularly know how to deal with it or how to breach that topic in like when I have to speak because it makes my body feel very unsafe. So I'm gonna just leave that like when I'm ready and when I can do that. And I saw a comment about like, if you want, it's probably easier for us to sympathize with your story if we know your story. And I totally get that. And if you feel frustrated and feel like, I'm able to sympathize with you because you're not giving me the full story. If you're in that position, then I totally understand. You can just find a different channel to watch. Don't have to stay here. It's totally fine. The vlogs, like the Monday to Friday ones, I feel it's my selfish pursuit for myself. It's my diary, sort of my stream of consciousness. But at the same time, I'm also a bit mindful, especially now the channel grew a little bit, that I needed to have a little bit of filter. In the beginning, I really didn't because there was no one watching, so I didn't really have to be careful a lot. Um, but now I feel like, oh, I kind of do have to be mindful. What am I talking to? 500 people, 300 people? I know like that's very little, like in the YouTube space where people speak to, millions and millions of people. But yeah, so yeah, I guess like story wise, it's just gonna be titrated, meaning like it's just gonna be drips and drops there when I feel like I'm emotionally safe that I can write it down or speak about it in a written form mostly, I think, because in a verbalized form of communication, I have difficulty dealing with that. My body just have this, shivers and anxiety, and it just makes it really feel unsafe. So it's something that I think I'm gonna allocate to therapy. I need to work on that with a real life person that hopefully is trained well and can help me with that. And so yeah, so if you are demanding a story, it's not gonna happen today. Mainly because I have not yet sorted out what kind of story it is. So my mind is still scrambled, to be honest, and I have no idea what's happening, what's going on, and how this storyline is going to conclude this arc of a story. So yeah, I'm having difficulty of like trying to play like a lot of roles. It's like the narrator and the actor. The actor, the person who is the agent that is enacting all this life story out, and also as the narrator, the person who is trying to tell the story. And it's very different roles, and usually it should be taken with a lot of mental stability, which is right now is questionable. I'm trying to hold on as much as possible. Um, but yeah, so yeah, if you're into my life story, the quick story is just I came to Australia when I was 14 with my relative. My relative left me with their children, which is not a lot older than me, within like, a year and 3 years older. And then we just have to take care of ourselves from then on, and my relatives just send money for us to pay for the rent and for, you know, for food, etc., and the rest is just our responsibility. Have to go to school ourselves, have to figure out life ourselves. There was not much role modeling. I suppose there was no adults around. I guess like I also like about 12 years ago I discovered I might have Asperger's. um so this is not the story that I didn't want to tell. The story that I can't tell is the current ongoing story, which is I have not yet figured out what it is yet, so or how to deal with it yet. So I can tell a story just very generically about me personally, because if it involves other people, I won't be able to take responsibility for it, because I feel like that will go into the privacy area of their lives as well. So I'm unwilling to do that, even though right now I'm feeling so much negative feelings towards them. But I feel like as an adult, I need to act responsibly. I need to act responsibly. Yeah, responsibly. Anyway, responsibly. Anyway, I don't know what to say about that. Anyway, I discovered that I was autistic about 12 years ago in 2012, and then as an Asperger back then. But I kind of forgot about it because my mom died, and even though I haven't really lived with my mom ever since I was a child, apparently that was a blow to my any kind of like stability that I had left, I suppose. I guess like I was naive. At 28, I thought like, oh, I thought like everything would just stay the same. I think that was my naivety. And after that, I kind of forgotten that I was autistic up until maybe 2020, about 4 or 5 years ago, when I was on TikTok and we were on lockdowns. And then that kind of bring a whole bunch of understanding of why things are the way things are in my head. And hold on, I'm I was cooking beef. Um, and yeah. Anyway, how I started vlogging. This video will not make sense. It will not. It doesn't have structure. Okay. It took me almost 3 months to get to a structure for the vlogs that are is kind of sustainable. So my method of finding something that works is basically just plowing through and just keep going until I'm like okay, and then keep remodifying things until I'm like okay, I think this is working. Like, you know, just like oh, this is working. But that took a while with the vlog series as well. So what was I saying? So distracted. Oh god. Vlog series. No, sorry, vlogging. Yes. Why I started vlogging? I started vlogging when I was after I wanted to start vlogging after I watched Laguna Beach. This was back in 2006, probably 2010, like back when we were when YouTube didn't even exist, and it was just there bloggers and blogging and stuff like that. I just wanted to record stuff. I remember like when 2004, and when I was still using Blogger, I think. I remember like recording like, oh, this is what I do at 5 a.m. at no, not 5 a.m. like at 5 p.m. at 2 p.m. at 11 p.m. and writing it down a bit neurotically, and my friend was just like, dude, you are so crazy. Back when I had friends. And I kind of developed slowly, I suppose, and vlogging just became a part of I think it's not vlogging. I think it's more like just recording and diarying, writing diaries, or documenting my thoughts and my processes in my life as is. Um, Now we just call it vlogging, I suppose. But for YouTube specifically, I started using YouTube in 2014. I wanted to document my 30s, but I didn't really have the technology or the wherewithal, which is like the capacity, mental capacity at that time, because I was still in grief, in full on grief. Apparently, if you're artistic and you're full on grief and you don't know how to cope with life, it's full blown. Like it lasted a few years, more than half a decade more. It doesn't. And especially if no one really takes care of you. Apparently, if you're grieving and you go into a shutdown mode, normally what happens is people surround you would make sure that you're taken care of, like you're fed, you are you know, they urge you to take a shower, they're being gentle with you, they're making sure that you are clean, and then slowly the other person would come out from their freeze mode and resume life again and slowly heal. I didn't have that, so as a statistic it was really hard, I guess. And I don't think I have healed from that. I think the scars is still, like if you touch it, it's still very sore, and emotional scars and wounds I'm talking about. This video is a mess, isn't it? So yeah, so 2014 didn't really do anything, and then in 2016 I streamed in Africa TV, which is a global version of Korean streaming site. And I think if you go to my oldest video, there is a video of like me eating durian mochi that was like taken directly from that streaming site. It was an archive video. So, and then I moved to Twitch after the Africa TV shut down 2017, and then I just used YouTube basically just for archive videos, uploading the streams to YouTube, just because I didn't really want to waste it. And after that, I slowly, in 2018, I think 2019, I started to vlog properly, like vlog, like actually make YouTube as the main channel. And I've been wanting to make YouTube monetize for a long time, and then I changed my mind and I just did a lot of review videos, because I don't really know how to do vlogs and how to make it like useful for other people or make it interesting. I think it wasn't until last year, or no, earlier this year, 2nd of January, I think, and I was vlogging, just my regular vlogging, weekly vlogging, and I was frustrated. And I think if you watch that video, the first video, episode 1, you can see my frustrations and the ideas slowly forming in my eyes and in my mind, and how, you know, this vlog series for this year came about. And by this time, I also wanting to have something to do, like 9 to 5, like weekdays. Like I wanted to have something that I can do, like a job, but I couldn't really get a job or get an go into a course, because I wasn't confident that my body could handle it. So I want to ease into it and to have something that I still can control. Like if I don't feel bad, if I don't feel good for that day, my body didn't feel well, then I will still be able to do work. And that's what the case is for now. Like I'll still able to maintain that 5-day scheduling in my mind. Like, so that's why I took it. And I also was selfish, because by this time, by the end of last year, 2023, I was only getting like 30 views for my videos. So it wasn't like, you know, I was getting any kind of attention or traction whatsoever. And the 30 views is probably like people just clicking it wrong. So I was feeling, well, I just want to document my year, then that's just my idea. And if there is only 30 views, then that's 30 views. Like, you know, there'll be 50 weeks, so 5, so that's 250 days of me, of 30 views, or whatever it is. What, that's 700. So it was just like purely math in my mind, like, okay, if I do that, at least I can rack up, I don't know, 150 views per week, and 150 views, you know, or maybe I can get closer to monetization and stuff like that. But if it doesn't, because at this time, you know, it was pretty dairy, I just thought, oh, okay, at least I would have a documentations of my year to some degree. So I wanted to have a balance between a personal records, but at the same time I want to make it a little bit like work. So I took like the weekends off So I make it that scheduling, which is like weekdays, and then on the weekend I just don't have the pressure to make videos or anything at all. So there's that mix between, I guess, business and personal life in that sense. Um, but yeah, that's how I got into vlogging, I suppose. And I think there were the questions about if what would I wanted to do when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a psychologist, and I did study a major in psychology when I was in undergrads, and I majored in sociology as well. And I think there's also a little bit of me like last year that I was thinking, hey, I did my master and it was in business, and I did end up working as a use that particular degree for accounting, and then I do use my psychology degree in my everyday life, and I think that managed to get me out of depression and anxiety and all like severe catatonia type of episodes from this past decade. But I never really used my sociology degree, so I think by the end of last year, I was thinking maybe I should like doing this vlog series is like how am I going to incorporate sociology degree into the vlog series as well, because by this time I was watching a lot of YouTube about, you know, it's like a video essay. It's about existentialism as a dissections of you know, like I don't know, like popular culture, what's going on and how it influences us. It was like there was a lot of discussion how Gen Z doesn't have a third space, and therefore it basically ruining their mental health and their mental space. And there was also like a lot of discussion about, you know, what's going on with life and how it's being put under the microscope quite intellectually. And I was like, oh, this is like, oh, I should do that, because a sociology degree, basically what we did was just reading and writing. That's all. Like we read, we write, we read, we write, we read, we write. Psychology degree is a bit different. We read, and then you have to do the experiment, and then you have to be involved in other people's experiment, and then you have to think abstractively. And yeah, it's a different discipline, I suppose. But with sociology degree, it's a lot more in tune to my personality, which is like you read, you write, you read, you write. So I guess like even though the seed was there, I didn't really pick it up until recently. That I think that's what I'm doing now. That because of my writing in the vlogs, that I'm basically utilizing that as well. Like I am trying to analyze my problem as if I was a third person and a objective uh, observer, which is not working well. Because I'm using my life, which is a personal and a real person's life that has consequences if you talk about it recklessly to someone's life. Anyway, I don't know if that makes sense, that last sentence. So I needed to be also have a role in my life that is also protective, that, you know, basically a good parent figure that says you should not share all of your life bare on the internet. It's not necessary. And I think, you know, and I think I need to listen to that. But I also like the internet because I feel it is a little bit safer. But I feel at the same time, as the number of the not subscribers, but I guess like the regulars viewers grow, because I don't particularly care about people who watch one off and then they just stop watching. That's fine. But there are some people who might be starting to get invested into my vlogs, which I feel like so weird about, because like why would I be, well, people, you know, be involved with a middle-aged autistic woman who is basically still a child and unable to do a lot of things for herself like normal people would. I guess like I'm judging myself too harshly in that regards, meaning like I have done things that I feel like, I don't know, I guess I need to support myself better. It's a work in progress. um yeah, What else is there? I guess that thought will remain unfinished. What else is there? I don't know what to say. My social life. My social life is basically just going to groups, like going to monthly groups of people. Like sometimes I go to a gardening club. Like today, there should be a gardening club like in the afternoon. I don't know if I'm gonna go or not. And other times, usually there are crafts club, like crocheting club, knitting club, and that's how I socialize. Basically, there is a specific time where if I wanted to go, I can go and see people. And I don't particularly have friends in real life and my age group that I can rely on, like emotionally and psychologically. My acquaintances, my well, one acquaintance had been very kind and listened to my problem during the crisis the past 2 weeks or like last 3 weeks or something. But and this person had been has a very good emotional boundaries, and so they directed me towards, maybe you should talk to a therapist, and probably very helpful. And I was resistant at first, and now I'm thinking, actually, I think this is a good idea because I don't feel guilty anymore if I talk to a therapist and unloading my problems, because that's what they're for. And I'm like, wow. Well, listening to someone that actually cares about you is actually helpful. Well. Maybe because I was like traumatized because, I think people have not been kind. Like people who giving me suggestion and under the disguise of help have not been doing that under for my best interest, and I only realizing that now. So it's a full mind fuck. I guess I'm just trying to unravel it and untangle it, and that's what I'm gonna do in therapy. But yeah, so that's how I socialize. Most of my friends have either got married, moved to different countries like a long time ago, and I started to isolate myself 12 years ago from the moment of my mom's death. And because I was not able to mask anymore as an autistic person, and that kind of just collapsed everything because I wasn't able to maintain and create sustainable relationships and friendships. um Apparently, at that time I realized like one of the friendship that I thought was close always ended up talking about themselves, even though I was in full grief mode. And I was like, I don't think this is working right now. I don't really want to hear about your life and your colleagues' life and your family life. And it's not their fault. Like, it's not their fault at all. Like, I was just like, oh, I don't think this is. So I kind of like abandoned and cut off a lot of people and isolated myself, and that really is not well. But I'm also was not able to figure out like what kind of healthy relationship should be. And I think like it's only in the past month or so that I get to witness what a healthy emotional person react and behave and act, and I'm impressed. I'm like, oh, okay. um so yeah, so I'm learning about that in the social aspect of it as well. I don't have a partner, and I don't have any kind of romantic entanglement whatsoever. Mm, there's just too much going on in my life as an autistic person that I feel I'm unable to handle. And also, yeah, I have a chronic illness that I am handling right now, I suppose. Like it came across as a hypothyroidism at first, and then my doctor checked for antibodies, and my antibodies was really high, and then I realized like, oh, it's an autoimmune condition. It's like it basically attacks my body, and it attacks like, it makes everything sensitive. Like if I eat the wrong thing, I get allergic reaction, and I don't know what I will be allergic to. So it's just too much to deal with without any support and help. Um, but yeah, so that's about it really. It's almost half an hour. Am I talking too much? If I have, I guess like if I have any suggestion, well, not suggestion, like if I have had known what I know now and what would I do differently in the past, I think I would tell my younger self to believe in herself a lot more and not to listen to any kind of parental figure that is actually not helping at all, not being in their lives and don't really know how to even navigate their lives. So why would you listen to them? And also try to take care of herself a lot more, making sure that you find an appropriate um, clothing, especially during winter, and to eat regularly, even if you don't feel like eating, and to know that you deserve kindness and you deserve being treated well, that you have talents and you are very competent and a lot of things that you hate about yourself is apparently not from who you are as like innately. It doesn't come to you innately. It's a program that has been installed in you from childhood, and it actually doesn't belong to you. Because if you watch your patterns in life, I also do the washing, so that's why it's really loud. Hey, this is life, man. I cook, I do laundry. um if you keep going and don't mess with not feeling worthy because you are, you'll be okay. Like everything that's your problem apparently is not your problem. It's a projection of other people, and you're allowed not to absorb these feelings, these thoughts, because they're not yours. And to trust in yourself a lot more, and to trust in other people. Your suspicion about other people does not really come from you. It comes from your childhood, which is fine. Like that's how people cope with their life, and you learned the best that you can and you survived. But I think it's much more important for you to learn how to thrive early on. um, Even though there is no pressure to do that, because I feel like we everything comes in their own time and when we are ready. And I feel sad for you, but at the same time I feel grateful for you to exist, for existing, and for carrying a lot of heavy emotional psychological burdens that didn't really belong to you, but you felt like you had to, because you have to do everything yourself and you have to figure everything yourself, which first of all was not your responsibility to begin with. You've done well, and let's just keep going and see where it takes us for now. I guess that's what I would say to my younger self. And I guess if you are in that position now where you feel like you're trapped and like the world is against you and you're incapable of doing anything, I think like you just have to focus on one thing that you can do for yourself. Maybe for right now is, I don't know, eating regularly, making sure you eat regularly, making sure that you wear warm clothes, make sure that you take a shower every day. If you are unable to leave the house, for example, maybe move from your bed to the couch. That's what I did to uh, when I first started wanting to get better from depression, catatonia. That basically I was bedbound for like a week, and then I just slowly start altering my goals from when I go to sleep, let's just die and hope not wake up tomorrow. And when you have a goal like that, and the first thing that you do when you wake up is open your eyes, you basically failed in your goal the first time you open your eyes. So change my goal from that to let's open my eyes today. That's the goal. So as soon as I open my eyes, I won. And then after a few months, I changed my goal from open my eyes. Now let's move to the couch. So if I do that for that whole day, for about 2-3 days, I won for 3 days. And that's how I kept going and just added more things like showered and making my bed up and all that thing. You know, you build yourself one piece at a time, and hopefully one day things will fall into place. That one day has not yet come to me. I'm still in the pit of despair, but I guess I'm not that bound as much. Um, so yeah, I think it's a bit long now. I don't know how long the vlog is gonna be. I'm gonna edit it, but yeah, let's see how it goes. I think it'll be okay. Anyway, hopefully this video is okay. I'll see you guys in the vlogs.